heard you were on the show, of course. I'm like, well, she's got a day job.
Yeah.
Was that sort of a fun, exciting thing that this even came up in the middle of having a nice ongoing role in the show?
Yeah, it was because we had a kind of funny hiatus situation, so we only broke for about 6 weeks, where normally when we have a hiatus it goes for 3 months. So I knew I had 5 weeks, so I kind of reached out to Kevin and said, hey, if there's any roles going on Stalker, I've got about a 5-week break at Christmas time. So luckily this kind of role came up, and it's been fun to do something different.
I realize, you're going through all the Kevin Williamson shows.
I'm trying to rack up as many Kevin shows in the shortest period of time as possible, and I feel like I'm probably winning so far.
Right.
What have you enjoyed most about it so far?
One, it's the first time I've worked in LA, so it's been really fun to work here. I've been over in America for 4 years now, and I've shot in Canada and I've shot in Atlanta, a little bit in New York and stuff, so it's nice to finally do something here. But it's also just fun playing a different character, and the stakes are very different when you're not using kind of supernatural elements. Neither's better than the other, but it's just very different when you're kind of talking about different things, and there's no special effects or anything.
Talk about your character. Obviously, we know she's a lifeguard, but when we meet her, until this happens, is things pretty stable for her, and then this suddenly just thrusts everything in her life.
Yeah, I get to play an Australian lifeguard, which is really nice. She's a lifeguard. She's been dating Dave for about 6 months. She was in a relationship beforehand with kind of a bit of a controlling ex-boyfriend, and so there's the question if maybe he was behind the attack and is behind the stalking, because we know that he wasn't very happy about her leaving him and starting to date someone else. So there's a lot of potential suspects in this episode. There's a lot of twists and stuff, which is cool.
Who have you enjoyed working with the most on the set?
I haven't had a huge amount with Maggie and Dylan, but they've been lovely. It's been really nice to work with them. And I've been also working with Nicole, who's playing my kind of roommate, best friend. So it's been fun also just to work with all these different people, because not that I don't love Joe and Daniel, but I work with them so much on set, so it's nice to have different people to work with.
It's a small thing that's not a small thing where you pleasantly surprised and they said, yeah, you can just use your accent.
Yeah, that was a real kind of nice kind of change, because I've been doing American for so long. I kind of was nervous. I was like, I forgot how to speak in an Australian accent.
Right. It was just like, it doesn't, why can't she be from Australia?
Well, exactly. So it just kind of took out that added little tricky thing that I have to deal with when I'm shooting a show with an American accent.
Is this going to be something that's kind of left open that you could come back again?
I don't know. With this show, every episode is kind of specific to a victim or to someone that's been stalked or a stalker. And I don't know that I'll probably have enough time off, because we go back on the 4th of January to shoot the originals. So it was just something that kind of snugly fit in between shooting both kind of shows, yeah.
How does she react in this situation? Obviously, it's a scary situation, but does it make her sort of recoil, or is there a part of her that just wants to get whoever this is, stop this person?
Yeah, I think she's very confused. I think she'd been kind of concerned that she felt like maybe someone was following her. She knew that there was this red truck that she'd noticed on a few occasions, and her and her boyfriend had been a little concerned, and it wasn't until the ring got stolen and someone kind of pushed into them, and she realized that maybe this was a very specific attack, and it wasn't just someone that accidentally, or not accidentally, but just like a criminal action. Yeah.
Being someone who's in the public eye, is this something that you also think about from time to time?
Not really, and especially not to this extent when you have, people burning alive, and that was kind of nuts to shoot. But no, not really. I've got very lovely fans of, myself in the show and stuff, and everyone's always very sweet.
Do you like, this sort of creepy, scary stuff?
I love it. Yeah. That's why, that was kind of the main reason why I wanted to do this, because this is I think that's why I love Kevin Williamson so much, because this is my genre. I just downloaded all the serial podcasts.
You're just talking about
that. This is my jam. I love this stuff. It's like my guilty pleasure reading, Gillian Flynn books and anything to do with true crime and all that stuff. It's like my sicko guilty thing that I like to watch.
So how about for the holidays? You can
tomorrow night I fly to Australia, and I could not be more excited. I'm going for about 10 days, and then back to work in January.
We left off with the originals, as always, with much emotion. Anything you can say about when we pick up and where things happen, where things go next? You had another kiss, but right now it can't be.
Yes, it's a really kind of volatile relationship between kind of both Haley and Elijah, and Haley and Klaus right now. And obviously where we saw in the last episode, finally Elijah and Haley kind of, kind of made finally an advance towards each other, which has been kind of built up over the last however many episodes. But when we go back, I think now the priority is definitely still to create some sort of safe home for Hope. I think both Klaus and Haley, their dream is just to kind of live kind of as normal of a life as possible, but obviously that is not going to happen for a while, and not without a lot of obstacles to get there. But yeah, they're just kind of, it's nice that they're now kind of on each other's side a little bit, and now that Haley's a hybrid as well, her and Klaus have definitely gotten closer and bonded over that.
You'd like on that show, I mean, one thing I know as a fan of those shows is that it's all genres. 1 minute it's an action show, 1 minute it's pretty visceral horror, romance. You're going to play a mother.
Yeah.
That kind of the excitement of you don't know what they're going to throw at you next.
Yeah, what's so amazing and beautiful about our show is that it really is these kind of ordinary characters, although they are supernatural characters, but they're kind of put in these very extreme situations, and to have someone, whether they're a vampire, werewolf, wolf or not, when you kind of put in the idea of motherhood and family loyalty and stuff, it really kind of grounds those storylines, and it makes it really interesting to play against kind of everything being super hyped and big. They're really real feelings, and they're really real, things that they're dealing with.
Have any of your scenes on Stalker been physical scenes? Have you had to do any kind of?
I mean, not so much stunt stuff. I mean, it's been fun on the originals because I don't have a baby belly anymore.
Right.
So I get to do a lot more kind of ass kicking and stuff. But on this, I mean, it has been quite physical because it's been quite violent. And so there's definitely been a lot of physical scenes in that regards. And normally I'm the one that's kind of handing out the violence. On this, I'm kind of taking it.
Is it something that you can turn off at the end of a scene, or is it something that's a little hard to process because these are big emotions?
Yeah, I mean, this last 5 days have been really kind of emotionally draining on me because, when you're dealing with like the loss of a boyfriend or a fiance in Nicole's case, it's really hard to kind of get out of it at the end of the day, and you're just so emotionally and physically drained. But it definitely kind of helps because throughout the whole episode of Stalker, my character is very drained and emotionally drained, so it kind of helps me to stay in character.
It's her job as being a lifeguard. Did you have to learn are there any moments of her in action as a lifeguard, or is that just sort of the backstory?
No, I did have to put on a red red swimsuit, which wasn't my favorite thing to do. It's been a while since I've put on a swimsuit. No, not really, because where we kind of pick it up, it's kind of after, the majority of the episode is after she finds out that her fiance has been killed. So the scene we're about to shoot is her kind of packing up her things for a while, and she's going to reassess what she's doing and if she's going to stay in America and stuff.
How about any other projects that you have in the works? I know it sounds you're pretty busy now, but anything else coming up?
I actually did a film. I managed to really fit stuff in. When I had 2 weeks off, I really managed to find something to shoot. My aim this year was to be a busy bee, so I've definitely done that. But yeah, I did a film in the UK, in the Isle of Man, actually, for 2 months over my mini hiatus this year, over summer, although I wouldn't call it summer in the United Kingdom. So now they're just trying to work out when they're going to release it and where they're going to release it, and that was really fun, and that was really a physical job, and it was a thriller as well, so there was a lot of running and through forests and hiding from bad guys, and yeah.
When you start as an actor, you obviously never know where your career's going to go. Is it amusing for you, or is it perfect for you that it has become a lot of not just genre stuff but physical stuff, characters that are very proactive and get in the mix and fight scenes and whatnot?
Yeah, I'm actually amazed because I'm the least physical person. I don't really do anything exercise-wise, but I find myself in these like jobs that I'm always really kind of testing my endurance and my strength. So maybe it'll be nice next year to do something a little bit more low-key and the stakes aren't as high, and maybe like a little romantic independent comedy or something.
You mentioned Haley getting the kick-ass originals. Is there anything coming up where she gets to unleash?
Yeah, a lot. Right now the Wolves and Haley's really trying to keep the Wolves on her side and keep that alliance and kind of protect her home and protect. She's kind of now realized that as a hybrid, she really has both the vampires and the werewolves on her side. So she's trying to use those allies and almost trying to join their forces together so that she has an even stronger army behind her against the witches, who right now are kind of the most serious threat to the original family and to the werewolves as well.
How much do they tell you on that show of what's coming down the pipeline? Because it gets really convoluted. Are there times where
Yes.
you're like, where you have to call, Julie or someone and be like, okay.
The writers are amazing on our show because they could probably write like an unofficial Bible of, the world of Vampire Diaries and the originals. I mean, you can call up any of those writers and you can be like, so in that episode of Vampire Diaries like 5 seasons ago, when this happened and now it's sort of happening again, and they know everything. So they're really, really helpful in that way. And they don't tell us a huge amount, but, everyone's so passionate about that show, and our, as I said, our writers and our producers, they're so excited to tell us when they kind of know something's coming up, and so they'll kind of pull us aside and be like, I just want to tell you that so-and-so is happening, and I don't tell anyone because it's really exciting. But there's like little things, like little comments, but only because people are so excited about stuff that's coming up. And us as actors as well are always keen to know what's happening, so we're always trying to steal scripts and find out what's going on.
Well, we always like to ask if you have a message for your fans.
To my beautiful fans who have been so supportive over the last couple of years, thank you so much for believing in me as Haley and believing as me as Phoebe as well. It's really nice. It's so beautiful, especially in the last couple of weeks in light of a lot of not so great things happening in the world, to really see that the fans are really kind of listening and they're using their voices in the right way, and I'm so grateful for that. I think social network is such an amazing platform to let people have voices and be heard, and it's been really amazing.